our baking of our cinnamon rolls, twists, and twirls. Once the product was fully baked, we took the product out of the oven. We let it cool for 10 to 15 minutes so that it could complete the baking process with carryover baking. While the product was still warm, we put on a clear coat glaze, a clear finish, which was to seal the exterior of the cinnamon rolls so that you could either freeze it or transport it. That was the moisture barrier that helps to prolong the shelf life. But if you would like to have a more indulgent cinnamon roll, you might choose to put a finish, a glaze, or a string ice on your cinnamon roll products. So we have a couple options. One of them is a powdered sugar glaze that we make with either yogurt or milk. We'll demonstrate that in a moment. But one of the easiest options is we have 3 ready to spread, ready to serve frostings in the 11-pound tubs. We have the cream cheese, the chocolate, and the vanilla. Today we're actually going to start with the cream cheese. First, you melt the frosting in either a microwave or a double boiler. Stir it. The idea is you want it to be fluid, but you don't want it to be so hot that it separates. You should be able to put your hand in without feeling any resistance. The first frosting technique that we're going to show you is called roll icing, because you dip it in the icing and you let the extra roll off and swirl. This gives you the thickest, most even exterior coat. And roll. Okay, the next is a string. And string icing is simply taking the melted frosting and drizzling it over the top. You can do this with all 3 flavors. Okay, so just finishing up our icing techniques, we want to show you one more. This one is actually designed for frosting or icing in packaging. And the idea when we first were doing our pan up while baking, we had talked about belt side up versus cut side up. You see this one, the cone shape tightens as it rises, and this one expands. If you actually let these thaw slightly, you can get a complete pan fill edge to edge. Or if you use the proof and bake cinnamon rolls, it would only take 4 to fill the pan because the yeast expands much greater. We're showing you belt side down, cut side up, belt up. This was the dirty side up. The idea was, if you're gonna frost, you have a couple options. You can either use a palette knife to smear across the whole tray, and it gets in all the nooks and crannies. Another popular method, if you're doing many of them for catering or a bake shop, you take your gloved hand, you deposit the same weight, and smear around the tray, and you're able to get a hand-frosted appearance without taking the palette knife on the tray. And you can actually see you got the same coverage, and you have more consistently on the crown because your hand is able to smear. You can always, squeeze the excess, or if you're doing all these trays that you don't have to change in between. You've already put the design portion on each tray, so you know how much the weight is going to be for the final sale.